Recording started.
Welcome to Been There, Watch That, where we review movies and TV, new and old. I'm Justin, joined by Joe and Dave. And last week we did Animal House. This week is Howard the Duck. Be sure to check out our website. You can go back in the back catalog, check out all of our reviews that we've done so far. BeenThereWatchThat.com. Then also on social media, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, BTWT Pod, hosted by Anchor.fm. Howard the Duck. Let's get started.
Howard the Duck. Holy cow. Joe, this is like a cruel joke. Not to let on the cat out of the bag yet, but whew.
Tipping it out a little bit there at the beginning.
Yeah. Well, when you throw down those kind of deals, you just got to start off in the right frame of mind here.
I'd never heard of it. Dave, you'd never heard of it?
I'd heard of it. I just hadn't watched it. Now I know why.
Well, no, guys, full disclosure, I had to give our show some kind of credibility because other than Mad Max, we've been given some fairly high ratings. And I was like, now people are just going to call us bunk and say that we don't know what we're talking about as far as rating movies. So I thought, well, we got to throw at least one grand slam out of the park stinker to see what happens. So
I'm pretty sure after this ordeal, people are going to be like, yeah, these guys have lost it.
Yeah, don't necessarily watch everything that we review.
There you go. Yes. Full disclaimer. Yeah.
Now, how about this? They watch the review, and then they can make their own determine if they want to go down that rabbit hole of watching the movie.
Well, this is a multiple Razzie Award winner. For those that don't know, that's people get together and rate the worst of the worst. Tim Robbins is in this. He won worst supporting actor.
I believe it. After Shawshank Redemption, I'm like, how in the world did he ever...
I wonder how old he was. He looked pretty young in this one.
Yeah, he was young, but I'm just mean...
1986.
Well, surely these folks knew that this was just like a terrible spoof.
Well, and here's the kicker, guys.
Tell me that, right? They knew that?
I did my research last night, and the casting on all this, it wasn't like a bunch of nobodies. You had Leah Thompson, which, if you're not familiar with her, she was in Back to the Future, and she's made quite the career. So, she's far from being a nobody. Jeffrey Jones, he was the principal in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah, and he's a good actor in Ferris Bueller.
And Ed Gale, he was one of the people that actually played Howard. He was in Spaceballs, Child's Play, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So, these weren't nothing movies. Then Tim Rose actually did Howard the Duck as well, and he went on to play in Star Wars, a lot of the Star Wars films. So this was chock full of people of a really strong casting call.
Yeah, you got Tim Robbins, who some people would look at his performance in Shawshank as one of the better ones out there, and then on the opposite end of the spectrum, you've got Harold. What is it? Howard the Duck? Not Harold. Howard. Get it right.
Wow. I'm just,
like
I said, I was just.
Dave? I thought
I finished it.
You did finish
I started not to, and I was like, you know what? We're doing this podcast. I got to take it serious. Least I can do is suck it up and finish it. So I did finish it.
It came in about almost 2 hours.
Oh yeah, it's a long movie.
Hour and 50 minutes.
I can't get past how you get Tim Robinson and Leah Thompson in this.
And it's a George Lucas film. Now keep that in mind, guys.
Yeah, I know. I saw that and I was like, George Lucas has got to be okay. Maybe I just 20 years ago when I first saw it, maybe I just kind of overlooked it, but nope, not the case.
There's a lot of talk that this should be an animated movie, not a live action
Yes,
movie.
Animated would have made so much more
somebody
sense.
in a duck suit kind of running around doing his thing. And all the voice for Howard was done after they shot. So he would kind of move his mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
And it didn't look terrible. He's, in terms of the mouth wasn't like moving while no words were coming out or vice versa. But
right.
Someone went back and did all the overdubbing of the voice. Which, what'd you think of the voice of Howard? I thought he was a little annoying at first. I kind of got used to him though. Is that the Ed Gale or is that?
They had a lot of people. I saw in the facts I looked up. They had a lot of people try out for the voice, like John Cusack. Who else did they have? They had
Chip Zien, I think, is the voice.
Yeah, I never even heard that guy.
Right.
But not Bill Murray.
Yeah, there's a
There was a list of people,
serious,
yeah.
Yeah, Chip Zien, he went on to do United 93, which was a documentary about Flight 93 on 9/11. He was in Snake Eyes with Nicolas Cage. Pulling up his IMDb here. Chicago PD, Ugly Betty, The Good
Yeah.
Wife, Rescue Me.
Oh, Martin Short and Robin Williams also auditioned for the voice of the duck. But as a Broadway star, Chip Zien.
So, in case anybody's wondering what this movie we're talking about, it's about a sarcastic humanoid duck is pulled from his home world to Earth, where he must stop an alien invasion with the help of a nerdy scientist and a struggling female rock singer.
I'll say struggling.
And he's kind of zapped into Cleveland. That's where it all takes
Yeah,
place.
it's weird because they don't really say how it got zapped until later in the movie.
Yeah.
Like it just starts off with this weird laser thing that doesn't reach all the way to him, but for some reason grabs him and pulls him through houses and signs and
In his world, everyone is like this duck type
yeah, everything's duck.
thing. So
Yeah.
his credit card is like Duck Express instead of American Express or whatever. There's
Yeah,
different
they had all
weird
those little
things
tidbits.
Like that. Yeah. It just starts with him trying to getting off work and trying to kick back and relax, and suddenly a laser beam pulls him out of his dimension into ours.
Oh, it also has Holly Robinson Peete. I forgot to mention her.
Yeah,
She
I mean
was-
there are a lot of people in there that I
Yeah.
recognize. I was just like, how, they all got roped into this terrible, terrible thing because of George Lucas's name is the only thing I can assume.
Yes, so according to reports at the time the movie's release, George Lucas had just built a $50 million Skywalker Ranch complex and was counting on this film to get his money back. When it bombed, he was forced to start selling off assets to stay afloat. His friend Steve Jobs, the CEO of Apple Computer, offered to help by buying Lucasfilm's newly launched CGI animation division for a price well above market value. Lucas, in desperate straits and thankful for the assistance, agreed that what Steve Jobs bought turned into Pixar.
Yep.
Wow.
Multi-billion
Yeah.
dollar thing.
Yeah.
So George Lucas had Pixar by that much, just inches,
Huh.
and lost it because of Howard the Duck.
Well,
That's
we,
crazy.
We mentioned the budget, like with Mad Max was
Yeah.
$350K. This was $35 million.
Yeah.
Ish. Something around $35 million to make this movie.
That makes me feel so much worse for the movie. I mean, if you said this
They
was
blew
on
a
a
lot of stuff
shoestring
out,
budget
yeah.
and super cheap, because it looks like they were on a shoestring budget and super cheap.
Yep.
Oof.
Yeah, there's
I don't even know where to go from
There's
here.
there was a rumor going around that like some of the executives got into a serious like verbal altercation / maybe a fist fight over like who was to blame for like letting this happen, this movie.
Yeah. Sid Sheinberg and Frank Price is the legend. They were Universal executives that, after a screen testing, supposedly had gotten into a fist fight over all this.
So Howard, he's it's explained later. He kind of has a conversation with this punk rock type lady that he meets, and maybe has some sort of romantic interest, which was weird. But
Well, the whole start scene is weird. Like, he flies down into an alley. These guys, these punk rocker guys, pick him up in the alley, and they drag him inside this rave party, and
yeah. And people say like, "No kids in here," and like,
Yeah.
throw him out, and
then he.
well, yeah, he saves the girl from these two
Hoodlums.
very bad guys with the switchblade knives or whatever, the scary looking guys, and he kind of somehow is able to like karate chop them and
No,
do
it was
kung fu
it
moves
was
on 'em.
quack food, Justin. Now, if
Right.
you're going to call it
Yeah.
right.
But Howard, I guess, had a dream to be like a musician, so that kind of ties in with his lady friend, that she's this big rocker girl, and he kind of gave that dream up a long time ago, but as we find out later, he's still got some musical chops.
Okay, so now, since this was a George Lucas film, there was several little Easter eggs of George Lucas in them. So up to this point, Justin, we're at where Howard's now on Earth.
Yeah.
Did you see any references to George Lucas up to this point? There was at least two.
No.
I did not.
I
Okay.
spaced out on that part.
We're 2 minutes into the movie, Justin.
That's all it took for me.
Okay,
And
so
the whole time, 2 minutes, 30 seconds in, it's like, Joe, what the hell? We've been duped.
So, the Indiana Jones reference at the beginning and on Howard's apartment, he has
Yeah. No, I did see that.
Duck Indiana Jones. Okay. Then when the laser pulls Howard out of his apartment,
Yeah.
when he's up in the sky and the couch pulls off to the side and he's still getting sucked in.
Yeah.
If you see two fire lines going behind him.
Oh, Back to the Future.
Yes.
Yeah. I did notice those, but I didn't really notice those.
Well, I've noticed those too, but I didn't realize that was a nod to Back to the Future until I actually read up on it.
Huh.
We talked a little bit about Tim Robbins' character being kind of a goofball, and he's the scientist that thinks he's going to get famous by displaying Howard, basically, or like being the first to discover this crazy duck creature.
Yes.
He thinks that's his ticket.
Tell
But
you,
then he ends up kind of helping out.
his ticket wasn't the acting, that's for sure. I still can't get past it. The acting was so bad, it almost had to be on purpose.
Yeah.
You guys think it was on purpose?
Well, there's a legend going around that the only reason this movie was made was apparently George Lucas owed somebody a favor.
That's one heck of a favor.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
A $35 million favor.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Tim Robbins was quoted that he didn't mind it because he made good money and he actually got paid twice because the shooting went over.
Yeah.
He's like, so it wasn't a bad gig. And I was like, no, that was definitely a bad gig.
Yeah, but I guarantee he made enough money that probably made up because I guarantee he probably is not getting very many SAG residual checks out of this one.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, you guys mentioned the principal from
Ferris
Ferris Bueller.
Yes.
I thought
Yeah.
his acting was pretty annoying when he was turning into an alien.
Yeah. Oh god.
Not
Yes.
to tip.
Oh,
No
Dr.
spoiler
Jennings.
alert. But he
I
turns
don't
into
know
an
how
alien.
he kept a straight face through all that.
That was too much. It was too much.
And Leah Thompson was throwing out slapstick, stupid jokes
Yep.
the whole time, and I was just like, "You got to be embarrassed. She should be embarrassed." I don't know if you guys noticed some of that stuff. Like, I wanted to remember one of them, but I can't remember it now. But it was just like, something happened and she was on the table, and then, like he had her strapped down to a table at one point, getting ready to use her as a
in the science lab.
as a capsule for the incoming bad
aliens,
alien.
yes.
Dark Overlords.
Dark Overlord, and she says something. I'm just like, really? You're strapped on a table. Your body's about to be taken over by a Dark Overlord, and that's what you feel like saying?
Mhm.
Like, yeah.
Some zingers, that
Yeah.
didn't really land at all. Yeah.
I was gonna say I don't even know if it's a zinger.
And Howard, I mean, it's hard to really judge the acting of a little guy in a suit, but he had some terrible lines too.
Ugh. That's Leah Thompson said they shot the movie for 6 months and she never had a day off. She's always rehearsing, recording, or doing something. I find that hard to believe. It's almost like they just said, "All right, you're on the set, go." And we're
Now,
holding up place cards with dumb zingers.
now the singing, that was actually Leah Thompson. Everybody in the band,
Yeah.
that was actually them
A
singing
real-
that. Yeah, that wasn't a voice
Yeah.
dub or anything.
I kind of like that song. That song was pretty good.
And the funny part out of all of it, Robbins complained and said that the duck could have been done better. And I'm like, that's your complaint?
Yeah,
I
I saw
mean-
another quote where some guy was like
He's like, we got the wrong duck
really
in the movie.
impressed. He's like, it's cool to see it come to life, like the duck costume.
I guess. I mean, in the comic book, apparently it was a cigar-chomping, rude, skirt-chasing duck. And it kind of got cutified in the movie. And when he saw it on the set, he was worried at the start that they just had the duck all wrong.
Yeah, Howard's kind of like this tough guy. Like, gets in a bunch of bar fights and I don't know, but he's clearly physically incapable. Because half the time he's getting just picked up like a child, and then other times he's beating up grown men, and then he's this bit of a skirt chaser, you'd say. And
Yeah.
supposedly has this sex appeal, which is weird. There's some weird stuff going on with this one.
And then it has a monster in it, an alien at one point, and that's oh gosh,
1980
Yeah, that
CGI
CGI
at
was
its best.
Very.
yeah, it's a stop motion monster, and you can tell it.
Yeah, the colors don't match the rest of the scene. Really, it's looks very
and it's the
2D.
guy that did Return of the Jedi, RoboCop, and Jurassic Park. He should be embarrassed too. I'm just gonna put him on a list of people that should be embarrassed.
Fair number of cars being flipped over and explosions and stuff. I mean, seemed like in terms of explosions, more in this than Mad Max for sure. So that's where some of the money must have gone, I think.
So they had check this out. They had a hotline. Universal set up a Howard the Duck hotline, 1-900-410-DUCK. And they promoted it to promote Howard, and pre-recorded messages, terse conversations with the web-footed lead. But it no longer works. But you can find the recordings on YouTube. I hope they got to be better than the movie.
Now
So maybe instead of watching the movie, just go to YouTube and check out the Howard the Duck call line.
Now they even made a video game.
What?
Yes.
No way.
I didn't know this till I was doing my research, but they actually made a
boy.
movie that was based off of after the movie. So like it picks up where the movie left off after
That's craziness.
the fact. So I didn't even look it up to see how well it did or what kind of video game it was.
Huh.
Now, Leah Thompson did confirm on Twitter that the Les Paul guitar that she uses in the movie,
Yeah.
she still owns and plays sometimes.
Nice. Well, I mean, that was probably the best part of her role.
Was playing the guitar.
Yeah. And singing. I mean, she wasn't great, but probably best part of the whole thing I saw and heard. But yeah. Now, Ed Gale was the actor inside the duck suit. And
there are 6 different ones, I guess.
Yeah, and I
at
don't
different
understand.
points.
Yeah, I don't understand the reason behind that.
They had like a kid at one point in there. And
yeah,
then
they had different
little
people doing
person.
different stuff.
Yeah.
And then Ed Gale, who was initially a stunt double, ended up taking over the role in almost every scene by the end. And then he met with Al Brooks, and Brooks said, "Hey, anybody who's in Howard the Duck can be in my movie." And just like that, he was one of the dinks in Spaceballs.
Yeah, so just automatically, just boom, there you go.
Yeah. So I guess that worked out good for somebody being in the movie.
Yeah, he's able to redeem himself with Spaceballs.
Well, I mean, he's the guy walking around in the duck outfit. You really don't do a whole lot. It did look like he had all these fight scenes, and I was like, and then you watch him walk around, I'm like, yeah, that cat couldn't get himself up on a counter or up on a chair or anything else because he couldn't bend his legs in that suit very well.
Right.
Like, there's no way he's getting in a fight and winning anything. So it grossed $16.2 million, and it had a 35 to 37 million budget.
It pretty much broke even, it seems like.
And it was the worst of 86 movie.
Because it made more internationally than it did domestically.
Yeah,
Slightly more. Yeah.
It bombed the theater so bad that before they sent it out internationally, they changed the name from Howard the Duck to, I have it wrote down here. Let me see if okay. They changed it to Howard, a New Breed of Hero.
Oh, gosh. I don't know if that'd help.
Well, I got to ask, was there any part that you found entertaining or gave you a chuckle or anything, Dave?
So you're saying, like, what's a positive? You want to hear me say
I thought
positive?
when he's in the plane and he was running over some of the duck hunters, that was kind of funny, but not
Yeah, I mean,
within the context of a stupid movie. It was kind of funny, but
yeah. And I thought it was kind of ironic, a little bit of a spin on saying, okay, the duck doesn't know how to fly. And Tim Robbins is like, use your natural instincts, let the beast take over, or what? Let the animal in you take over. Or you know how to fly. I'm like, that's not even. The dude doesn't even have wings. He's never flown. Yeah, he's a duck, but not that kind of duck.
Yeah, because they're in the science museum at one point, and they show one of those things where
The evolution chart.
the evolution chart that shows this ducks eventually losing their wings on his planet, Howard's planet, where they become more like human-like and aren't able to fly anymore. They just walk around like humans.
Yeah, and I don't even know. They don't even walk real well.
His tail's always sticking out of the back of his pants.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, Justin, where else would it go?
I don't know, tuck it or something.
Yeah, have pants that kind of go around it. I don't know. It's funny stuff.
Yeah, it does seem like. I mean, they were trying to be funny. Is obviously not.
Well, and
A lot of
like
absurd stuff.
when she first finds him, she looks in his wallet, and he has a condom in there.
Mm-hmm. She's like, "Oh, Howard."
Yeah, and kind of a hint towards the sexual chaser that he is.
Yeah.
I'm
Now,
like, really?
Now here's the kicker, guys, on all that. Before they released this movie overseas, there was 2 things they had to cut out: the condom, and Dr. Jennings when the tentacle comes out of his mouth to stick it in the cigarette lighter of the truck. Those were 2 things that they had to remove before they could show it over in Europe.
Why the
on
tentacle
BBC.
that goes into the cigarette lighter?
I don't know.
Too gruesome, maybe.
Yeah. They just said it just grossed them out too bad that the BBC said
Huh.
before they could show on their airwaves that they had to get rid of the condom and the tentacle going into the cigarette lighter.
Wow.
Weird. I mean, he kind of went towards her a little bit with that deal, but I don't know. Weird anyway.
Yeah, it was nominated in 1990 for Worst Picture of the Decade.
I believe that.
In 87, it won Worst Picture. And Worst New Star, I guess that's Howard. Worst Visual Effects. Yeah, that makes sense. In 87, it won that. And then nominated Worst Original Song, Worst Director, Worst Supporting Actor, Tim Robbins. Oh, he didn't win. He just nominated. Okay.
Yeesh. Yeah, I don't know, Joe.
I wonder, I mean, is there any sort of, there's those groups of people that like to watch terrible movies and they get a kick out of it. Like The Room is the one that people always go back to. I wonder if there's anything like that with this one, the people that are really entertained by how bad it is, or if it's just bad all around.
I mean, maybe you could kind of have a little niche following where they say, it's so silly and bad it's worth watching, to kind of just have these poor zingers thrown out at inappropriate times. But I don't know. Here's another little fun fact I found. Howard wears pants because of a legal dispute with Disney.
Never give that a thought.
So Disney almost sued him because they didn't want him to be like Donald the Duck and give him a bad rep. Because in the comic book, he kind of looks like Donald the Duck.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now, I'm going to floor you guys with this little tidbit. Did you know that this isn't the last appearance of Howard the Duck in movies?
What?
Guardians of the Galaxy or something?
Yes.
Like that?
Really? He's in Guardians of the Galaxy?
At the very end, there's a post-credit scene that now he does not look anything like this version of Howard the Duck, but there is a Howard the Duck at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy. After the credits roll, there's a little scene after that Howard makes an appearance.
Nice.
Huh. Well, and it says here Howard only exists in the MCU because of Captain America. It says that when they were doing questions with him about Guardians of the Galaxy, they're originally going to have to cool Quicksilver Scarlet Witch reveal as its end credit sequence, but then Winter Soldier stole it from him. So they're trying to cut footage they'd already had to create an ending. And then Fred Raskin, who was the editor, is kind of like Benicio looks over the box for a minute, and we could probably cut something into that. And that's when they come up with putting Howard the Duck in that box. Interesting.
Yep. He shows up for a few fleeting moments in Avengers Endgame.
Really?
Huh.
Did not know that.
Yeah, but like you said, looks pretty different, but I guess it's still Howard.
He ran for president in 1976.
Really?
One storyline in their first comic run, he travels to New York with his girlfriend, Beverly, and nominated as the all-night party candidates of President of the United States. He lost, but Marvel sold real campaign buttons. And they even got a few write-in ballots in the real election. And there's the Howard the Duck video game, which, Joe, you mentioned. Huh.
Yeah, I never did look it up. I'm going to have to dig and find that one, see if I can track that one down.
That's kind of crazy.
Now, I did see last night where somebody tried to sell, back in 2011, tried to sell some Howard the Duck memorabilia, actual props and stuff in the movie.
Yeah.
One piece sold on eBay for a little over $1,100.
Wow.
So they put up another piece. That next piece did not sell.
I believe that. Hey, do you know it was the first Marvel movie? Did you guys already say that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think we mentioned it, but yeah, I knew that this was the first Marvel movie. So
It
yeah.
was supposed to be animated.
So think about it. If it wasn't for Howard the Duck, we wouldn't have all these Marvel classics we have today. So you're welcome.
You know what's crazy is this is Leah Thompson's. She had just signed on to play Lorraine McFly. And then Howard the Duck. She said she missed the feeling devastated. That was such a failure. especially coming off of Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what she was thinking there because wow, I could have told her, hey, as a friend, that's going to be a failure.
It's gonna be a stinker. So, did you guys see any of the other George Lucas references throughout the movie?
I did not.
I didn't either until I went back and read. So they both happened in the diner scene. There was a kid wearing a Star Wars Empire Strikes Back T-shirt, and then the cook was wearing an Indiana Jones: The Temple of Doom shirt.
Really?
Yes.
The cook.
Yeah, they totally wrecked that diner. I mean, they just smashed the
Yeah,
heck out
I was
of it.
trying to think. I mean, I noticed in the diner they had, quite a few puns there playing out. Like they had the Asian guys in the back, and then, he's thrown down karate, or
Yep.
duck oddy, or whatever you call it.
Quack Fu.
Quack Fu, there you go. And then the waitress was hapless. And the lady's like, no pets allowed. And he's like, seeing eye duck. And then
Yeah.
walks off, and I'm just like, oh boy.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, Howard freaks out when they try to serve him eggs. Which
yeah, I was like, they're chicken eggs, dude.
right.
He's like, am I some sort of,
Yeah. I mean, he drinks beer and smokes
Yeah.
cigars. Like, you wouldn't have some eggs?
yeah.
No, freaked him out.
I didn't get that reference. I mean, I don't know.
Like if they served up a bird or something, I'd be like,
That's,
oh,
yeah, if he's
it's
eating duck.
like
yeah.
a chicken leg or something, I'd be like, oh.
But I mean, if an egg hits the ground, chickens, whatever, goes right to it. They don't care. They'll eat their own eggs. Fact of life.
Yeah, but they
That's
don't
a
have the
fact.
superior intelligence of Howard, though.
I get. Well, I mean, that would make it even more reasonable. Hey, it's a chicken egg. Yeah. Distantly the related fowl. Speaking of fowls, this whole thing was a
He'd
foul.
always call humans hairless apes. He loved to
Yeah.
Yeah.
refer to us that way.
Yeesh.
A
So-
Cajun sushi restaurant. That's what that diner was.
Yeah. Joe Roma's Cajun Sushi.
So this film wrecked a lot of people. Willard Hayek, the director, never directed another movie.
Oh man.
And then Frank Prince, who was the head of Universal's motion picture division, he had kind of been alienated. And he'd already alienated Steven Spielberg a few years earlier, that E.T. would only appeal to children, and then he followed up with Howard. And so they had a screaming match, and then in the end, Price had to resign.
Oh boy.
So yeah, end of two futures right there, end of two careers.
Plus, George Lucas losing Pixar in the process.
Yeah, oh yeah. So originally they had a kid in the Howard suit, but it was too dangerous, so they had to end up putting adults. Yeah. I don't know. Tori Amos was supposed to play Beverly,
This is rated PG. Huh.
but lucky for her, that didn't pan out.
Yeah, I don't fully believe that PG rating.
Yeah.
And it's funny on how some of these movies over the years the ratings have changed, because I watched Airplane a while back, the original Airplane, and on Netflix, and I went and looked, and they have it now rated as a PG. I remember growing up that was like an R-rated movie, and they leave everything intact on Airplane, but yet it's rated PG now. So I don't know how these older movies are, based off their content, are getting lower ratings now than before.
Yeah, I just still cruel joke, Joe. Cruel joke. So get this. Leah Thompson said she felt inspired by the female director Patty Jenkins, and with Wonder Woman and all that stuff going on, and she was thinking of going to Marvel and asking him to let her redirect a remake of Howard.
Really?
Why? If I were her, I wouldn't bring up Howard the Duck in any sense or manner and have it associated back to her.
Yeah, throughout the movie, Howard's kind of I don't want to be here. I want to go back to my home planet. By the end, he chooses to stay
Yeah.
with the humans. So it kind of sets it up to where a continuing story could happen on Earth where he's still hanging out with all his human buddies.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It'd been better for everybody if he just went back.
Howard, get out of here.
Well, now there was rumor, a very small, kind of like an internet conspiracy theory that they were supposed to be in a Howard the Duck 2 Return to Duck World.
Oh, gosh.
But I think that was one
That
of those
might be
internet
more
legends.
They could be.
With everything being
Send him
a duck,
back and let it be in Duck World.
Yeah.
Now, that would be all right. Because the first minute where it's showing his apartment stuff and all the little duck things,
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
The first minute, every other minute after that.
Just looking at the little things, like
Yeah.
you said, the bank, and the magazines and the pictures on his wall and the references to
Yeah.
movies. I was just like, yeah, I could kind of see that.
Now, Dave, is this fair to say this is payback for making Justin and I suffer through Mad Max?
Dude, you paid me back like 10 times over. I mean, I literally, it hurt to sit through this. It's like, gosh. When we talked about doing this podcast, I had visions of watching all these awesome movies, and then you drop this bomb. And it's just like, wow, Joe.
So now you're saying that Mad
Cruel
Max...
and unusual punishment.
So now you're saying that Mad Max is not the new level of low, that we've hit a new
yes,
low?
100%. Wholeheartedly agree with that statement because this is one heck of a low.
Well, now I gave you guys full disclosure. I said, now this one isn't popular online, and it's usually at the bottom of the bargain bin. So I gave you guys full warning on this.
I don't even know how this movie got in a bargain bin. Not labeled as a bargain, that's for sure. This is labeled as a throw your money away and waste it forever.
Okay, now time out though. Dave, how much did you pay to watch this movie?
None.
There you go. So yeah,
I still got robbed. I'm just saying.
What, 2 hours of your life?
2 hours of my life and the time and effort, yes. Got robbed in a bad way.
Yeah. Hopefully this isn't the one that destroys the podcast. So we never come back. But yeah, you experience the lows and then you appreciate the highs, I guess. Is what we're doing for you.
Jeez.
And warning other people against it, maybe. Depending, I don't know what folks are going to score.
Yeah, guys, look at it this way. We are doing a public service.
You know what? That is the first thing about this movie that I agree with. It's a good thing.
Yep.
This is your PSA, public service announcement. Don't waste your time.
Don't show this to children.
I mean, watch
nothing.
watch commercials rather than deal with this fiasco.
Yeah.
The bad acting, the terrible lines. Wow. I don't know.
Well, I'm kind of curious what these ratings are going to be.
Oh, it's an easy one for me. This is definitely a burnt bucket. Burnt, scorched,
bucket.
thrown out in the alley, and then picked back up and force-fed to somebody.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I considered maybe even like where you like burn like half your bag of popcorn so you can still reach in and grab a couple that are edible, but overall it's terrible. But yeah, well, I don't know. But with our scoring system, you got to pick one. So
You don't have to. I just made up my own there. You burn it, you throw it out in the alley, let it get wet and slimy, put it back in the bucket, and then say, you have to eat this.
Oh man.
It might not even be a good alley.
Yeah.
Now, so Dave is like scrape. I mean, this is beyond burnt popcorn for Dave.
Beyond.
Justin, you're saying
I'm burnt popcorn.
I agree. Come up with another category below burnt popcorn, Joe, and that's where this film lands.
I'm burnt popcorn all the way, I think.
okay. So I'm going to be the minority here, and I'm going small popcorn because
No way.
yes.
Joe.
I found it entertaining enough that it was laughable. I actually entertained myself watching this, so I'm giving it at least a small popcorn.
Maybe even a medium.
How you have to justify that then. How do you get a small popcorn out of this fiasco?
For my movie taste, it was so cheesy that it was actually entertainable.
I could kind of see that, but a small.
Well, I could go medium and just let you guys throw me out.
Oh, no way. You do that, you ruin all your credibility. And I'm saying right now you're kind of suspect on the credibility if you're going small. As my teenagers would say, Joe, you're sus.
Yeah.
This will be my first burnt popcorn.
And it well validated burnt popcorn, let me just say. But this crap about a small, no way, Joe. You got to have more than that reason.
I mean, Mad Max was borderline burnt. I gave it a small, but it could have gone either way, I think. The first original Mad Max.
I mean, yeah, there's some nostalgia there. It was real. It had some, you know, good action scenes.
Hey, now there's nostalgia in Howard the Duck. If it was not for Howard the Duck, there would be no more Marvel movies. Howard the Duck set the bar, regardless of how high or low the bar was, that it was the foundation of the Marvel movies.
Wow.
Yep.
I don't know.
Even though most people refuse to claim that it was part of the Marvel universe.
Justin, here's all I'm saying. Your next pick better be a decent one. A lot on the line here for you, pal. Joe's about to get kicked out of the group.
I was going to say, from you guys, at least from Dave's reaction, I think I hold out a little hope with Justin, but I think from Dave's reaction, Dave's going to stop me from giving any recommendations of movies to watch.
Yeah, you might have to skip a turn, Joe.
Do not pass go. Do not collect
Yeah,
$200.
you're in jail on the Monopoly board.
So you're saying I have to come up with a mop bucket choice to get back on board?
Yeah, it needs to be something decent, at least medium. Because I mean, wow, if I have to suffer through another one of those, I'm gonna need a vacation. Anyway, all right. Well, in all seriousness, though, that it's good to kind of see a stinker like that occasionally because that way. It kind of gives the thermometer or gives the scale an appropriate rating.
Right.
So that the next time I do see a good movie or even a decent movie I'll appreciate it. Because, you're saying Justin Mad Max is just barely above that? I don't think so. I think Mad Max is heads and tails above that gem of a deal.
Now,
yeah, you're probably right.
Cena always helps me out with the homework part of this, sitting and watching a movie. And her exact words were, and I quote, "At least it was better than Mad Max."
Cena's crazy.
And Dave, I'm telling you,
don't tell her I said that.
Yeah, she don't listen to this, so we're good.
Okay, good.
She's
how could that be better than Mad Max?
I think she's like me. It was just cheesy enough to be entertaining.
Well, if there was no Road Warrior, would Mad Max still not be flirting with a burnt popcorn rating, maybe?
Yeah.
Mad Max is a real movie, though, with a story and a plot.
Yeah.
Which we poked holes through.
Kind of, but I mean, it still had a story and a plot. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying Mad Max was good or great.
Right.
But wow, this was so bad with the one-liners. And especially, it just disappoints me because Leah Thompson, Tim Robbins, I've seen them act.
Yeah.
Leah Thompson coming off of Back to the Future and Tim Robbins with his performance in Shawshank Redemption.
Right.
And a couple other movies that he had that's been really good. How did they get duped into this fiasco?
So
they had to have done it on purpose.
Right. Well, see, that's why I like having Cena help watch these with me because she's usually a pretty good gauge because, I mean, her taste of movies and my taste of movies are like night and day.
Yeah, I gotcha.
So, she has no issue with looking at me and going, "That's the dumbest thing I ever seen. I don't know why you have the level of intelligence to actually enjoy this." But but her exact words were, "At least it was better than Mad Max."
Oh yeah. I think you just caught her in an odd time in her life. That's all I'm saying.
Well, she might have fell asleep through the middle of the movie. I don't know.
So Justin, give us some hope here. Any idea on next week? What are you looking for? Comedy, drama, action? What do you think? Give me a nugget of hope here.
A good story, a drama, I think.
Okay.
A real story, maybe. Something real, a real life.
Really?
Something based on true events, maybe.
Wow. All right. Okay.
So now, Justin,
that'd be a hard turn from this.
I
think about this as remotely.
I have to ask, based off this discussion, not giving out the title of the movie or whatever, but has this changed your decision for your next pick? Because you're listening to Dave just bury me with no return. Are you going? I was going to pick this, but maybe I should lean more towards this. This is kind of a safe bet for this round. At least get over
the hump of this deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would probably go for something I haven't seen before. So if it's a stinker, it's not intentional.
Okay, so now that sounds like a cop out.
I agree.
So Justin's going to here, guys, watch this movie, and
might be a stinker.
Yeah. So if it's a stinker, it's like, well, I never watched it before.
Yeah. How could it be worse than Howard the Duck, right?
Right.
or
Yeah,
or
okay.
Mad Max at this point.
I'm all ears, so I'll take suggestions. But yeah, I really haven't zeroed in on anything yet.
Wait a minute, who picked Mad Max?
That was me.
No, you picked Road Warrior.
No. He picked Mad Max, and then he had to
I was
double
trying
down with
pick-
Road
I
Warrior.
was trying to pick Mad Max. I didn't know which one.
He
was
went.
first.
He wanted to go away from it with my pick, but I was like, no, we got to go ahead and do Road Warrior because it's better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I wanted to
so
start at the
I'm just
beginning.
pointing out now to clarify this. I'm the only one that hasn't picked a stinker yet.
Well, no, I'm yet.
Yeah.
We're still early in this series.
Hey, I like some weird movies, or bad movies, but I'm just saying. As of right now, I'm the only one with like real credibility here on picking good movies.
Or are you just so middle of the road mediocre that just willing to go outside the comfort zone?
Yeah, that might be the case. Oh, well, what did I pick so far? I'm not even sure.
Animal House.
Animal House.
Christmas
and,
Vacation.
Yeah, Christmas Vacation. Oh, come on, man. I'm hitting home runs compared to this Howard the Duck
You haven't
fiasco.
left. Okay.
Well, you gotta go out and try something.
Get away from National Lampoon. is that
Yeah,
what
I
you're
was gonna
saying?
say you kind of
You
just
gotta try to pick something you've never seen before.
All right,
yeah.
all right.
Well,
Give
you
that a try.
Okay.
You kind of rest on the laurels of National Lampoon and their immediate classics. I mean, come on, Dave.
Okay.
now.
All right. I'll tell you what. So I got 2 weeks for my pick. Well, really, I got 1 week, I guess.
Hey, you can skip me if you want.
No. It's hey, you throw your documentary out there, pal.
Yeah, after this beating, Justin's like, I don't want any part of this.
Yeah.
Let me see. Let me look up my movie here that I'm trying to think of. Go ahead. Continue with this conversation of how Justin's pick better be a good one.
Although I do find this entertaining, guys. I have to say this is probably one of my more entertaining episodes we've done, just me personally.
Sometimes, people like to watch a car crash, and see a dumpster fire and enjoy it just for how bad it is.
Yeah.
And anyone out there that gets a kick out of Dave's pain, he definitely put that on display.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean it's craziness.
I'm gonna say I think this is the most I've laughed in an entire episode like since we've started this, and I know we're not very far in, but wow, like I knew going in that this wasn't going to be like I wasn't expecting anything above a medium popcorn on this, honestly, guys. Like if there was large or mop bucket, I was actually going to question your guys' credibility.
Yeah.
But
Now-
just like hear Dave just like completely obliterate it. At least, Justin's saying it's a burnt popcorn and there's just a little bit of hope on it. And Dave's like saying burn it and just wish it never existed.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like,
take it clear off the. So here's what I'm going to say. My next pick is going to be a Mark Garofalo film.
okay.
He's one of my favorites.
Okay. One you haven't seen, though, right?
Nope, I've seen both of them. So
no
I've
fair.
narrowed it down to 2 movies.
All right.
Um,
Well, okay. Could I just get a little preview? Because I may have seen him too.
well, I doubt it.
Because I like his movies as well. I just saw one kind of recently.
I would say both of them are not mainstream
He
movies.
was Dark Waters. I think was the most recent one I saw.
Dark Waters. I
Where
don't know if
he's
I've
a
seen that.
Attorney taking on
Oh.
some companies in West Virginia.
Yeah, that's supposed to be really good. I've
Polluting
not.
water. Yeah.
Have you watched it?
Mm-hmm.
Is it good?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Zach's watched it too.
Yep, that's where I got the recommendation from.
Because I wanted to watch it, but I've not sat down to watch it. They say it's. I've heard.
I haven't
good
watched
things
it
about
either.
I liked it. Yeah.
So maybe we'll have Mark Garofalo trifecta here. So Justin, you pick Dark Waters, and then I'll pick one of his other ones, and then
Maybe.
and Joe, because I mean he's got a lot of movies here. He's got Now You See Me, of course, Dark Waters. He's in Avengers for all those.
Okay. Well, do you guys? I
Now
know
You See Me
we
Too.
just kind of spitball and just throw stuff against the wall.
Yeah. I think
So
I need to do a little more research, and I'll get back to you on that.
okay.
Yeah, he's in quite a few movies. He's got a lot of movies I didn't know about. Last Castle, In the Cut, You Can Count on Me.
Yeah, I'm
Infinitely,
thinking
Infinitely Polar Bear I've seen, which is actually
Something
pretty
in
good.
that vein, that's the type of movie that you'd call probably a drama. I would say. Would you call that most of his movies dramas and
Yeah, I think
based
so.
on true
yeah.
events in some cases?
Some, yeah, he's definitely drama.
Like the Spotlight.
He was in Date Night, but I don't remember him in Date Night.
In Spotlight, he was
The Adam
reporter
Project,
exposing the Catholic Church in Boston. I
The
believe he
Dentist
was
in
that one.
1996, Committed in 2000, There Goes My Baby in 1994. Wow. All the King's Men, 2006.
I mean, I'm leaning towards something newer just because, I don't know, mix it up a little bit. We've been doing some stuff from the 80s, the last couple ones.
Yeah.
I might throw in a newer one. that I have not seen, or maybe I have?
Well, he's got 2 movies that I've seen, and both of them are. Well, I don't want to give too much.
Comment on social media. Anybody has any suggestions?
Throw it out there. Throw it out there and see. But I'm almost positive. I'm not. It won't depend on what you do, Justin, necessarily. But I'm almost positive I'm going to pick one of these 2.
Okay.
So I will. When the time comes, I will let you guys kind of sway which one.
Ooh.
One is kind of fun and cheeky, and the other one's more serious and dramatic.
All right.
So see what you guys feel like when the time comes, and just think about.
Okay.
Or Justin, if you want to hold your pick for another week, I will jump in front of you and mess up the rotation.
Yeah.
So you guys could make the decision right now. Fun and cheeky, dark and dramatic. Mark Garofalo, do you want to see that for next week, or would you rather see what Justin throws out?
I'd say we just keep the order we've got, not mess things up too much.
Ah, I see. So now it's a strategy deal here.
Structure.
Justin is
Keep the
not
structure.
going to give up his spot.
So Justin's trying to pull. Justin's trying to be the phoenix and pull us out of these ashes called Howard the Duck.
Yeah, now you can be the hero, Justin. Here you go. This is your opportunity, buddy. You better make it count.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm good with that. So, do you have you already you've turned your laptop off, so you're not.
If you wanna let the audience know.
No, I
what
was just
we're
saying.
watching, yeah, we could do that, and then I'm totally
No.
okay with you skipping.
No.
Me. I was just kidding.
No, I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
So here's my question. You've already put your laptop down,
Yeah.
but do you have your movie pick, or do you
No.
need research?
I'm gonna research a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Do a
So-
deep dive.
Oh,
What is
right.
today? Today's Tuesday. So we
'Cause
got some
There was
time.
another one you recommended.
We got till next Wednesday.
With Claire Danes, where she's the farmer. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, Temple Grandin.
I still haven't checked that one out.
Yeah, that one's really good.
Comes highly recommended, but
Yeah, she does a really good job in that. Templar Grandin's still around. She does a lot of speaks at a lot of conferences and stuff about animal welfare. Not like she's goes and tries to gives farmers a better way to do things.
I assume you haven't seen that one.
No,
Joe.
no, I haven't.
Yeah, could be one.
It's good.
Yeah,
It's good.
I actually started a document on my computer that I've made a list of movies that as I'm watching, or if I see something, go, ooh, that reminds me of this movie. I've actually made me a little playlist of.
Yeah. Another thing we had kind of talked about a little bit, Dave, just kind of came up when Joe and I were talking. There's some podcasts where they'll just review the pilot of a well-known TV series, so like Cheers or something like that. Just review the very first episode. That could be something we could throw in for some variety at some point.
If we ran, I agree. I'm still going with Mark Garofalo.
Yeah.
I'm set right now.
You're already locked in.
I'm looking at him and I know what it's going to be. Yep.
Well, based off today's episode, I'm going to do a deep dive and see if they actually did make Howard the Duck 2. And guess what my pick's going to be? Oh, Dave's giving me the death
I was
stare.
going to say I'm going to be sick that day, and most surely that movie will not work on my laptop. So
I was going to say, as soon as I said that, Dave just glared at me across the desk with that death stare like, are you serious? No way, no how.
It wouldn't play on my laptop. Why? I threw it out the window. I hated it so much.
yeah, I don't know what happened. My laptop just broke.
Yeah. Now, just fair warning, Dave. No, depending on which laptop you throw, I don't think all of them have the accidental coverage.
Yeah.
Oh, this has been fun, guys.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I found it dreadfully tortured and a struggle in 2 hours that I feel like I'll never ever get back. And yeah, I blame you, Joe.
You're welcome.
Wow. Okay, so
Okay, so now
been there, watched that. Just about, went down in flames.
So let me ask you this, guys, or at least Dave, because Justin hasn't
Small popcorn. He's full of crap.
So Justin hasn't given the beating that you've given me.
Yeah.
So now
Justin's just a nice guy. That's why.
now I'm gonna put.
I've known you for what, 15 years, Joe? 20 years?
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. So
Yeah, we can be honest.
Justin
with
hasn't
each other.
known you that long, so he's kind of still playing the nice guy role.
So after watching this, does this change your guys' perspectives? Like, okay, I have to bring something of real quality to the table.
That's why I was like, Mark Garofalo is kind of like a go-to.
Does this kind of like cause you guys to like narrow your choices even more?
It does for the next round anyway. I gotta kind of get that taste out of my mouth, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, I'm going with Mark Garofalo because he's kind of like that B-rated actor that does throw out some good quality movies that people just haven't seen. Like I could almost promise the two that I'm gonna choose from, you two haven't seen and probably never even heard of.
Okay.
But they're good, decent movies that probably had a niche following. Not like Animal House or a spoof,
Right.
but like good, heartfelt dramas that had a good following
Okay.
with good actors in them.
Although I do have to admit, we're not into this podcast very far, but no more movies than what we've seen. We've actually covered a wide variety of stuff. If you step back and look at it.
I kind of hated to pull Animal House out because I'd done National Lampoon the first time, but the two different movies with two different reasons.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
I mean, I'm not sure why you brought out Howard the Duck, Joe. But
it was all new to me too.
Ooh,
if
gosh.
I saw those, it was all new. It was like watching them for the first time for me. Both of those National Lampoon ones.
yeah, Animal House is a classic, man.
Because
Yeah.
I had never
Tons of
watched,
stuff in that.
I'd never watched Animal House either, so it was.
That's craziness. Okay, all right. Well, wrapping up this episode, whew, Howard the Duck. Thank goodness.
Okay, Dave, which
Let's
was
get this one
which was
behind us.
easier to do? Watch Howard the Duck or talk about Howard the Duck?
Definitely talk about. Watching it was just pure torture. Like at one point, I turned it off, and I really had serious thoughts about not coming back to it. But I was like, that's not professional. So for the podcast, and
Well-
for ease of talking about it, I had to watch it through.
Well, okay, guys.
Ugh.
So what do you guys think if it's an actual burnt popcorn in your book?
Yeah.
Are you required to suffer through the rest of it?
Oh yeah.
Well, Dave's saying that because
Well, I mean, I just did, so you two better.
I was gonna say.
That's all I'm saying.
I was
If
gonna
we're
say-
all going to suffer a tragic 2-hour loss of our lives here, then yeah, everybody's going to suffer together, Joe.
Okay.
We're all crabs in the same pot, pal.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't care how bad you think Mad Max was, and Justin, you poor thing for throwing it out there, but
Yeah.
it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
So right now, Joe, you're low man on totem pole as far as throwing out bad movies.
Hey, I just
Your next pick. You got 2 weeks to figure this out. It better be a humdinger.
Hey,
You
guys.
got a lot of ground
At the
makeup.
bare minimum, I'm giving us some kind of credibility so people can go, hey, yeah, they are legit.
I don't know if that
Howard
was
the Duck's
worth
terrible.
it. I don't know if that was worth it. I would argue the choice there. I've been like pick I don't know, Wind Talkers or something like that just went horribly wrong, but it's not that bad.
It was all strategic, guys.
Oh gosh.
Wasn't any kind of payback, regardless of what kind of conspiracy theory you may start.
I was gonna
on.
say, what did I ever do to you that I deserve that?
Regardless of the conspiracy theory of this is payback for Mad Max, that this was more of a strategic role to give us some kind of credibility on our rating system.
Oh boy.
Hey, I had to give us an easy stinker.
Well, that was a slam dunk of a stinker.
There you
Let
go.
me just tell you. Mission accomplished. And if you ever put me through that again, we're going to have a serious talk about our friendship.
Are you saying from now on I have to get my movies pre-qualified before we?
No, you're free to pick. I'm just saying,
Oh, I haven't lost that privilege yet.
no.
Keyword privilege.
Yeah. No, it's all good. You're right though. You got to have those. You got to have a balanced scale.
Right.
So we can't all just sit here and watch fantastic movies.
Right.
That's no fun for anybody. Anyway, all right. Well, take us out of here, Justin. Holy cow. Been there, watched that, and man, am I glad that I have watched that. The been there part could have done without.
So no Howard the Duck T-shirts or Christmas? Are you guys? Is that the vibe I'm
The
getting?
next thing I see with Howard Duck on it gets trash canned immediately. I'm just saying.
All right. Next trip to Amazon.
Don't waste your money. All right.
All right. Well, that's been Howard the Duck. I'm a little flustered. How about you take us home, Joe?
You didn't even pick the movie. I don't understand why you're flustered. Are you just worried about your next pick? Is that how?
I think it is. I think Justin's going like.
It's like,
okay,
wait a minute.
Yeah, we just watched the
Crazy
beating.
episode.
My next pick better be a good one, or else I don't even know. I'm just
Yeah, we just watched the beating Joe took. I don't want any part of that.
I don't know. It wasn't a beating that
No.
reflects on you. It's just,
Right.
wow, that movie, Leah Thompson, Tim Robbins, that whole cast. I feel sorry for those people. I mean, I still can't get over Leah Thompson coming right off of Back to the Future, which
Yeah.
was such a home run
Exactly.
to this crap. And
Yeah.
I would have more respect for her if she did a good job acting, but she just did a terrible job. Terrible.
And it wasn't like it was
Felt sorry for her.
It wasn't like it was a quick, throw together movie. They filmed for 6
35
months.
million.
When they filmed for 6 months.
Yeah, and 35 million. How do you spend 35 million and get those kind of lines?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Wow.
kind of like a peek behind the curtain a little bit with just Hollywood, how things can go poorly, and
That I still think it had to be on purpose. I think George Lucas got him together and said, "Listen, we got to flop this baby out. Everybody get on board."
Well, I think it kind of implied that one of those things where like, okay, we need something. Do we have anything? Well, we've got this Howard the Duck thing. Let's put it together. Where we need some sort of movie for this time of year, and they didn't have anything else. It kind of seemed like it was
Wow.
slim pickings at that time. For whatever reason, they didn't have a whole lot else going on.
Just wow. Well, I would say that director deserved to be fired,
Yeah.
and the guy that gave the pitch at Universal, he deserved to kind of lose his spot.
Kind of be blackballed from Hollywood.
Yeah, I
forever
mean,
and
you're
ever.
gonna throw down that deal, you deserve it. All right. Anyway, Justin, you ready?
Take us home, Joe.
All
Oh,
right.
gosh.
So for all of our reviews now, is it fair to say that none of the other reviews are this colorful?
Yeah.
So for a little more mild, more tamed reviews, just as entertaining but a little more tamed, check out our website at beentherewatchthat.com and check us out on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook at BTWT Pod for all that. And be sure to send us a tweet, a message, a comment. If you have any other movies that you'd love to review, any great cult classics, or even stinkers just for Dave's benefit that you think fall in line with Howard the Duck, send them to us, and we'd be more than happy to watch them. As Dave gives me the death stare.
I was gonna say, don't be too sure about that.
But yeah, check us out for all this information and more. Go to beentherewatchthat.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. Another show in the books, and we'll be back next week with Justin's awesome pick.
Episode 8 coming up.
All
Yeah.
right.
And the week after that, Mark Garofalo.
Yep.
For sure. Well, maybe for sure.
Yep.
Okay. Everybody have a great week.